All right, good morning. My name is Victoria Vaccaro, and I'm going to conduct an analysis of new trends in visual culture, and specifically the documentation of sports through GoPros. So I attached a video. I interviewed one of my longtime friends. He's filmed for corporate business marketing. He's done Red Bull. He's done documentaries for like 15 years, personal stuff and for work. So he's done a lot of action sports in particular. And I really enjoyed his point of view. Sorry, my dogs. I enjoyed his point of view on how GoPros have affected his career and just the overall aspect of sports. So I'm going to start with why we think that the GoPro market declined. Because it came out a couple years ago and it was so just blown up. It was amazing, like no concept we had ever heard before. And everybody dreamed of being able to literally have a camera right here and video whatever it was we were doing, whether it be sports, whether it be just traveling, swimming, going underwater, and GoPro created a little camera that is portable, and it can be on a stick, it can be on your helmet, on your actual like dirt bike or machine or whatever you're riding, snowmobile. You can get any angle you want. People have put them on cars, on planes, like they're amazing. So why did something so great decline? Well, my buddy Lane, his theory is that unlike Apple products, GoPro created something so amazing and so top-notch when they first released it that they basically outsourced and outmarketed themselves, because now you can still use the first GoPro or second GoPro that came out years ago and it'll have the same quality as the new ones that are coming out for $500. And then there's the other hand, there's GoPros that are on Amazon for $49, or GoPros. They have a knockoff name, so if you don't want the name brand, you can still get a tiny camera that does the same settings, footage, or similar. There's obviously lower grades and higher grades of different knockoffs and alternative companies with these cameras. But essentially it's the same idea, and you can get them for $50 instead of $500. And like I was saying about Apple created a product that was kind of crappy to begin with, the iPhone, and then next one they came out was like a little bit better. You have to keep buying to get the best ones. So that really sucks, honestly, for a company that they've created something so good and not crappy and not like scammy that you have to keep buying storage and buying updates and getting the latest version of this to have something work. Because Apple literally, I'm getting off topic here, but something so good, how can it go bankrupt and decline so much? It's a bummer. But anyways, so when it relates to the issues with social media, I'm going to start off with the negatives first and then go to the positives of how GoPro has changed the world of sports. And yeah, so basically one issue with GoPros is the factor of you having to get the footage off that little camera onto your phone or computer to put it on social media. There's so many steps. So with an iPhone, I can take a video or a photo and upload it within 30 seconds if I have good enough internet service or phone service. With GoPro, yes, there are Wi-Fi connection settings that you can do for your phone and upload it, but then comes in the fact of, okay, well, I have a 10-minute or 20-minute or hour-long video that I can't put on Instagram, and now I have to edit it and crop it and maybe do a filter or excuse me, slow-mo or whatever it is to focus in on something. And that's a process. I have to upload it to another app. I have to make sure there's storage on my phone to even contain something that large of a file. So then if you don't, you have to upload it to your computer, edit it on your computer, take it from your computer to your phone to upload it to social media. And it's just a really long process. So I think that's a huge thing with GoPro. Like, there isn't that immediate satisfaction of feedback. People want to post stuff, live in the moment. They want people to be so jealous of what they're doing. We talked about this in class. One of our discussions was the issue of social media and like why we even do it, really. And I think it's for that immediate feedback, whether it be positive or negative, that people want attention. And like, if you just jumped off a cliff and did like skydiving or whatever, you're like so excited, you want to post that right away, whatever the video or whatever it is. Because once you wait, it's like, okay, well, that happened a couple days ago. Like, I'll just post a photo from it or something. Like, so you don't quite get the initial, immediate satisfaction of getting your experience out there right away. So my boyfriend is a prime example of this. He's a professional snowboarder. He has probably thousands and thousands of days riding, snowmobiling, dirt biking, snowboarding, whatever it is in the backcountry that they've gone out and filmed professionally, and he's got footage on his GoPro, and he'll post 20 seconds of it and then just delete the whole thing. Like, he doesn't put it on a computer. There's no, if you go on his Instagram, that's what you get. You can YouTube or whatever. He's got videos on there. But anyways, people just like that immediate, like, okay, post, done. They don't want to go through that long process unless you're a filmer and you enjoy editing, which isn't a very common thing. So anyways, I'm going to scroll through my notes here. All right, so how has it affected sports positively? Well, it's huge. It's used in all extreme sports. The Aspen X Games, they use it for filming. There's just certain things that you cannot record with someone following you or with those line, like in the NFL, they've got the cameras on the strings basically that zoom across the field back and forth. Like, there's things that you just can't compare to the experience you get from a GoPro. The video I attached is a prime example. Even though their drone that they came out with failed, they redid some of the settings. I think there was an issue with the battery and powerage for it. So there's just things, whether you're driving, like people go off-roading and jeeping, how can you get a camera up here following you to see the terrain and what you're doing? Well, you can use a GoPro or a drone or whatever. So the positiveness is that athletes can go back and view their, either if they were snowboarding, they can view their powder run or their line or their jumps, rails, whatever. If they're doing park or backcountry, if you're on a dirt bike and you're in the tight woods single track, you can't have somebody like following you along with a camera. Athletes can view the terrain, they can see what they've done wrong, and they can correct it later. NHL hockey had a huge contract with GoPro in the beginning, and they loved the idea of each player having a GoPro on them in order to film different pieces of the games, because a lot of people don't enjoy watching the games because they can't really tell what's going on. It's hard to see the puck. It's hard to see what's even happening. A fight breaks out over here and like what's going on. So that was a huge thing. And I read a lot of different articles about how exciting it was, how it was going to change the world of NHL, and that was all in 2014 and 15, and I could not find anything updated. So I don't even know if that wound up working for them. But the idea of having a camera on an athlete just changes the game. You get a front row seat to what the athlete's decision making is, what maybe they have to say. There's a lot of really cool commentary that comes from GoPro videos because the athlete's just like talking right out of reaction. And there's so many things that can happen whether you're riding, snowmobiling, dirt biking, running, swimming, surfing, any of those, especially that's like in this video that I attached here. It's like the best of 2017 GoPro footage. There's so many things that can happen in those moments that you can never redo. Like, there's just things that you want on camera the first time. Like, no matter how hard you try, you could not ever reenact what happens, whether it's nature or your own personal, physical, good or bad reaction to something. Or if it's like the machine that you're riding has an error, you can look back and see, like, oh, my bike, whatever's wrong with it. That's what went wrong there. So, yeah, you just get that front row view. The athletes can totally correct and analyze themselves, and maybe a coach too can get an outside view because things go wrong and things go right. So then that's where editing and truth comes into play, because anybody can film something and crop out all the details that maybe weren't so pretty and make it look like something that was flawless. And we were just talking about this last week, the storytelling aspect. And you can create whatever film footage you want into a good or bad story, and you can edit it to where it's not even what you started with, or you can use it to completely like give someone the outside experience that you want them to feel. And when it comes to these GoPros compared to old filming techniques, like when you're carrying around huge cameras that get very grainy, very not HD footage, like you can tell when you're watching even on TV, like old snowboarding videos, old sledding videos like Boondockers and Art of Flight. Those are newer videos that have been absolutely magic for the film industry and athletes, because you're seeing them get off helicopters. You're literally seeing the snow hit the camera. It's like you're there, and it's like Disney World for some extreme athletes, being able to watch that and feel it and see it. So it's pretty insane, and I think GoPro has a really amazing thing. I asked Lane if he thinks that it has helped or hindered filmmakers' careers and producers, and he said that a lot of them complain about this problem exactly because their equipment is so expensive, and they spend so much of their life getting the talent and the clients and the equipment itself and figuring out how to work it all and make it a career. And then GoPro comes out with a little camera that's like, okay, well, I can film my whole life if I want. So it's understandable, but you also can't like let technology's always going to advance and always going to improve, and if you're a really talented filmer, then you're going to be able to make a life out of it, because there's always going to be somebody who needs somebody else to video them, whether it's for a sport or for something else, a wedding, for example, whatever. So you know, everybody's excited for that up and coming technology that may be released. Now, whether it affects your career, that's a different story. But yeah, on to the next. So basically, GoPro is visual storytelling, and you can film and save and view and project anything of your life because of these little cameras. I think it's just so huge, especially when it comes to the anthropology side, because we're able to look and compare through years and years and years. Like, we've gone back to the cinema ages in this class, and old films, and it's crazy to think that the footage we have now from these cameras and the athletes' sides, also what they're doing, this is all going to be so dated, and people are going to be living just a totally different experience with the new technology and new advances in sports and whatever the next big thing is. So it's really amazing that we can document all of this and let people see it in the future. I know my kids are going to be like, Mom, that dirt bike video is like so lame. They're filming it with a GoPro because there's going to be something way cooler out. So I also asked him if he thinks that GoPros have encouraged athletes to go a little more extreme. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, it's encouraged non-athletes to go more extreme, because now everybody can be on camera. Like Larry Enticer, if you know who that is. He's in all denim with a mullet in Canada driving old snowmobiles, like 80s, 70s, even older, who knows, off these huge jumps and like getting hurt. But it's so funny because he just like gets up and chugs a beer, and it's hilarious. So it's kind of like takes you back to those days of Jackass, where it's like, all right, well, these idiots are doing whatever, but you can't blame it on the GoPro company. You can't blame it on anybody else except for the person. So I think it has also enhanced athletes to go bigger and like made them more excited. Like, well, even myself, I'm like, well, if you can get it on camera, I'll try it. Like, whatever, you know, like, oh, I'll try this jump or try to go off this rock on my dirt bike and see what happens, because either way, it's going to be a cool video. So I think that's huge. And finally, I think, in conclusion, GoPro has just created a brand new insight and vision for our world and our society. And because of them, we can get a personal, up-close, one-on-one, front row view feel to what is going on, whether it be in sports or in travel or in day-to-day life. They have just created like a whole new world for up-close and personal media. So I think it's amazing, and I've really enjoyed this class so far. So I've learned a ton. I didn't even know GoPro was kind of going down the tube until I got to do this project, and I learned some new information from a close friend of mine. So I hope this is good for our project. I'm going to send this to you and get some feedback, hopefully. Thank you.